Attention, fantasy sports fans. Does it strike you as odd that the popularity of fantasy sports continues to grow, but the game itself never seems to change? Drafting players to be a part of your fantasy team is cool, but are you looking for something new? If you're a sports fan and you actively look for new ways to have fun and compete while watching sports, you gotta check out StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com. Statement Games is a new, simple, yet innovative form of sports gaming that is changing the way thousands of fans view sporting events. With Statement Games, you select player and game props or statements to compete in tournaments for prizes. Sign up for free using your Google or Facebook account. No credit card or debit card information is required. Try StatementGames.com today and watch how we take fantasy sports to the next level.
StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock sponsored mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/bloodpressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
It's Meals on Wheels. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch at letsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here. That's what you've earned here tonight.
Forget about the crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms, and remember what got you here. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
It's down to the wire with Errol Marks and Speedy Petey.
Oh, Petey!
On the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Errol Marks. And my co-host, the wonderful, the great one, the vibrating champion, Speedy Damn Petey, sitting right next to me. As you guys know, I'd like to give a shout out to all the fans that actually tuned in to my DJing yesterday for the little bit of time, because for some reason, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope did not want me on. They kept shutting me down because of all the music that I was playing, which I had no right playing. But I'd like to thank all the fans for listening to the little bits of DJing that I did put out there yesterday and raised a couple of bucks for COVID-19. Not enough, but I raised a couple of bucks. But I'd like to thank all the people that actually tuned in and listened to us and listened to Speedy promote himself and his vibrating virtues right on live radio.
Oh, God, I think you promoted that more.
No, I did not. You promoted it
You
more.
decided to make the images.
No, I did not. I just
really?
I made the
Someone
images
else
for
made
all
the
you
images?
guys. All you guys to tune in and actually listen. So, anyways, I'd like to thank everybody. 631-965-4990 is the number to call. And remember, guys, you can follow us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Follow us on all our social medias from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, radio.com, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio. And we're on every single platform throughout the social media market. Speedy, how was your weekend? I know you enjoyed yesterday. And by the way, if you guys
I
do not...
somewhat enjoyed yesterday, and then it got weird.
Well, you guys didn't tune in after the whole show because I had Speedy on Snapchat. If nobody's following us on Snapchat, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, you could do that. Or follow me at Errol Marks. You'll be able to find me. Or Sports on the Go 1. You'll find it on the Snapchat. I posted up so many good, funny videos of Speedy Petey. It was hilarious. You guys definitely have to tune in and see what I did to Speedy Petey during the night last night for what was an hour?
Good hour, maybe even more.
And by the way, Speedy danced yesterday, so that was great. It really was.
That was the part that wasn't weird.
Well, actually, it was very weird. Your dancing selection, and I didn't even play any music. He was dancing to my beatbox. It was really funny.
Yes, your beatbox, which for 20 seconds was fine, and then it made it weird again.
Why did it make it weird? I don't understand. Because I would beat a beatboxing? Is that what it was? Did that make it weird because I was beatboxing?
Not you beatboxing. lyrics of choice. We'll
What was the lyrics of choice? Please.
Things that cannot be said on air.
Well, give us a little bit of a conclusion to it.
Okay. So, all right. So basically, it was what he claimed I was in the beginning of the show, that the thing.
With the vibrator?
All right, fine. You said it now.
Okay.
And things affiliated with that, which I will tell you aren't true, but yeah.
They are true. Anyways, we do have to get into sports. This is a sports radio show. So let's get into it. Last week, there was a story that came out from Astroville. And what I mean by Astroville, the Houston Astros, ladies and gentlemen. And the major leagues, as you guys know, will probably start later in the season, probably around July, which will probably give them about 110, 100 games if they doublehead a couple of weeks for some of the teams. And there was a story coming out that what are you going to do with the Astros and AJ Hinch and the GM that were both fired because of the whole, camera thing, okay? Well, story came out and they asked Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred in the major leagues came out and said, well, it counts as a full season. So even though this season there will be no major league season. I almost said NBA and NHL because it looks like they're not going to have a season. They're not going to be finishing up the season. But nevertheless, the story was coming out that even though the season will be a half season, 75% season, it doesn't matter. Even if the season does not exist this year, the Astros will not. Go ahead, Speedy.
Rob Manfred said that AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow suspension will end in the 2020 season, no matter what circumstances happen. Even if it's not a full season, even if they start the season in July, they will be relieved of their suspensions in 2021. It will only exist in 2020, which, again, they're nitpicking.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. And I am so sick and tired of Rob Manfred speaking out on his own really thoughts, and he's not using his brain, and he's not using his words kindly to the owners, the players, and really all the other GMs throughout the league that are complaining about the Houston Astros getting away with practically murder. This is an organization that won a championship in 2017, not only stole a championship away from the Yankees and the Dodgers, but stole a chance for other organizations to see their team go down, winning parades and all the different things that you get after winning a championship. And by the way, a lot of money.
Legacies too, yeah.
Also money too, because they make more money if they go to the Major League World Series.
Yeah.
This has been a problem for the major leagues. And I understand, and I call it major leagues because I don't even want to call it the MLB anymore because it really has its own perception now that they think that they can do, and Rob Manfred thinks he can do whatever he wants. Now, I have no problems him making rules if the rules are in the book. But they're not in the book, and he makes his own rules going forward. Bud Selig, he was all about the steroids. The major leagues with the strike in 1994-95, the major leagues were falling off the hinge. So he had to find something. And what happened? Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa happened. They saved baseball. Steroids saved baseball. You could say whatever you want, it did. Now you got Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz. All these big-time superstars that might never see the Hall of Fame. And I look at it, and you have to look at it, because when you try to use your perception to what the major leagues was and what they are now, to me, it's not even a game anymore. It's a business. And I understand everybody says, well, sports is a business now. It's all about money. You have fans that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for tickets every single year. And these guys or these girls or ladies are going out there and buying tickets for $10,000 for like 25, 30 tickets. And the major leagues have pretty much told the fans, we don't care what you think. We just want you to spend money, and we don't care what the thoughts are with the Astros. We make the decisions. We are the MLB, and I am Rob Manfred, and I am going to make the rules the way I want to make the rules. Now, does that sell the product? Does that help the product? It absolutely doesn't. Now, I do believe in 10 years, the MLB will be back on top over the NFL, over the NBA. You can laugh all you want, Speedy. It's my thought to it. You can giggle all you want. That's my thought. In the 90s, before 95, the MLB was the number one sport in America before the strike. It was. It was number one. It changed after 95. The NFL took over with the new rule changes in the 2000s, with the Eli Mannings, the Ben Roethlisbergers, and Phillip Rivers, and Tom Brady became a superstar, and all these things happening, Drew Brees. It changed football for the better. But now you look at the major leagues, and you look at where the MLB is going. Where is it heading? And right now, as long as Rob Manfred is running that organization, the MLB will go nowhere. Now, I do believe in 2024, when his contract is up, he will be gone. The players in the major leagues, the players union, and I believe not the commissioner, the owners and the GMs in the league, when they do that vote, and it's usually the owners making the vote, I think a lot of the owners will not vote Rob Manfred in, especially with the Boston Red Sox situation going on right now, which he will not speak about until the season starts. Ooh, I wonder why.
And what will happen, too, if some teams do keep him in the voting loop, assuming obviously no other evidence comes out of other teams doing it, maybe they'll end up being suspicious in their own right, where, all right, they can investigate them. Nope, they protected the Astros. Nope, they protected the Red Sox. Nope, they protected Rob Manfred. All of a sudden, there could be an investigation on them, which won't look good either.
Come on, guys. How many people out there think that the Astros should get away with this? Because that's what the major leagues is doing. This is what the MLB is doing. They're pretty much saying, well, if it's a half season, it's a full season, if it's a quarter season, it counts for a full season. And they will not be suspended in 2021. Pretty much saying that AJ Hinch will have a job, and so will the GM, who everybody thought was one of the top 3 GMs in baseball. What was his name?
Jeff Luhnow.
Jeff Luhnow. Who will have a job, by the way.
I think so, too.
He will absolutely have a job in 2021. And I'm telling you right now, this won't be the first, and it won't be the last time we're going to hear Jeff Luhnow, because I believe wherever he goes next,
some god-awful team will take a chance on him.
I believe wherever he goes next, he will do something along the lines like this and try to get away with it again.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You ever hear that?
Yeah, that's fair. It's possible.
The MLB, they're going to be looking into every single thing he does for the next couple of years. Now,
well, especially, if they're going to get away with it like they could be if the season is shortened. Yeah, there's definitely a chance of it. I mean, we'll see if he learns from it or not. That'll be interesting to see. But most likely, whoever will take a chance on it will be a really bad team that maybe has to gamble it on anyway. They might be so bad it won't even matter, but they might still do it.
And here's the thing. You remember the Braves? Does everybody remember what the Braves did? I don't think anybody remembers what the Braves did. Do you remember what the Braves did?
It was illegal tampering with the international pool money or something like that, which allowed.
And what happened? What happened with that?
Nothing.
No, there's something that happened. That was the last thing that happened for Bud Selig. It happened when Bud Selig was practically giving the reins to Rob Manfred.
But did they suspend them for anything like that or fine them? I don't even remember.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that penalty was light, too.
No, it wasn't light. It wasn't light. They took away draft picks. They took away players that they bought with that money, and they lost a lot. The Braves.
That makes their new GM look better.
And you want to know something? The Braves got a worse suspension than the Astros did, and the Astros cheated to win a World Series. What did the Braves do? Just try to find a way to make more money to bring in more players to that organization. That's all they did. They weren't stealing money. The Astros stole money. And you're going to say, well, how did they steal money? Well, it's very simple. They went to the World Series, They took money from other players, other teams that could have been there at the World Series and winning that money. They cheated those players, those teams, out of money. That's the problem here. Anybody that thinks that the Astros should get away with this doesn't know baseball. They really don't. You don't know baseball. And right now, you can say whatever you want. Every one of you can say whatever you want. The Astros are getting away with murder right now. And the fact that Rob Manfred came out and said that, I wanted to come out with this story because this story irks me.
And even so, regardless of what it is, if you have a suspension that's supposed to be for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of games, you shouldn't just label it to just a year and have it be that particular year. Because, again, circumstances like this, circumstances that are very uncommon within sports, don't come up very often. Don't just limit it to the 2020 season. If an NFL player got suspended for domestic violence for a year or something like that, and the season gets shortened because of a lockout or something like that, are you going to say, no, you served your time. Nope, you can play again? No, it's the same kind of thing. You don't suspend people for just a specific year. You suspend them from a certain amount of games. And if they're
162 games,
it
no
should
matter
be
what.
162 games and
No
any
matter
postseason games that they would play in their new locations or whatever, no matter what. If AJ Hinch goes to find a managerial job somewhere else and that team makes the postseason maybe 3 years later, he should be suspended for that too. For whatever amount of games it would have been if he were still the Astros manager in that case. He should be suspended for that. They should not restrict it to being, nope, it's just the 2020 season we're suspending you for if the 2020 season isn't a full season.
And that's why when I look at this story, I had to come out with this story because I couldn't get to it last week. And this story irks me more than any story right now that we're going to talk about. Come on, guys. How many times have we seen major league teams and major league players come out and talk about other teams, other players from other organizations and put them down? Why haven't we heard anything so far from any of these GMs or any of these owners? How you're hearing this story, this story coming out the way it has, and how could you be happy about this as a commissioner, as an owner or as a GM of another organization? How could you be happy about that? Tell me about that. Please, come out and tell me. If you're an owner of a team and you got screwed out of a World Series in 2017, and I'm talking to the Yankees, I'm talking to the Dodgers, actually, I'm talking about the teams that the Astros actually beat to get to the World Series. Who did they play in the first round?
The Red Sox. But the Red Sox cheated too, allegedly, so that cancels out.
Not in that game, not in that series, because
we don't know.
Alex Cora was still a part of the 2017.
We don't know he doesn't want to reveal the evidence. We don't know what came out yet.
It came out in 2007, after 2017, when Alex Cora took over. Okay, it had nothing to do with the Red Sox.
Probably, but again,
guaranteed.
It hasn't been revealed yet.
Guaranteed. It's going to be revealed, and I guarantee it happened in 2018 when they won a World Series.
Okay, but again, let's say most likely, because that's the case. And then you have this 2018, you have the Indians, and they played the Red Sox again, and then the Dodgers again. They got knocked out after that. And then 2019 would have been the Rays, and then the Yankees, and the Nationals. And the Nationals still beat them anyway.
So just think about it. Look at all those organizations, all those teams that that really got screwed out of winning more money or more playoff series or winning a World Series.
Look at how many players, looking at the Indians and the Rays, look how many players they lost because of, maybe not directly because of that, but because of them potentially losing those series too.
As a fan, does that make you happy that you spent all that money, all those thousands of dollars to go and watch a baseball team when you had not even a chance to beat the Houston Astros in any one of those series because they were cheating? Would that make you happy as a fan that you go and buy $250 seats to a playoff game and your team has no chance of winning that game? You don't know that, but now that you know that, I want my money back.
And the Rays last year took them to 5 games, so that series was close as it was. And I think besides game 1, I think every game was close for the most part, so there's an obvious difference.
So let me ask you guys a question. All you guys out there, all you fans out there that are, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Texas, Ranger fans, any team out there besides the Houston Astros, would you be happy if you're hearing stories now that's coming out of the MLB, that if the season were to end tomorrow because of the coronavirus, that AJ Hinch and Jeff Luhnow will be reinstated in the MLB no matter what in 2021, even though there's no season. Just think about it.
Ridiculous.
Would you be happy? Come on, guys. Because I wouldn't be.
And you shouldn't be.
As a sports fan, as a Yankee fan, as an any fan, if I was an Angels fan, and the Angels have not been good for years, I would not be happy. But Rob Manfred likes to hide things, likes to say what he wants, and he comes out, tries to be very laid back, and I'm a GM that has my own thoughts, and this and that and this. Here's my thought to Rob Manfred, and I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm going to say right now. I think Rob Manfred should be fired tomorrow from all the owners, from all the GMs. They should have a sit down and fire Rob Manfred because obviously he's way over his head. He took over for Bud Selig. Everybody was talking about, wow, Rob Manfred's going to be one of the best commissioners. Look at all the implemented rules he's going to bring in to the major leagues. Look at the changes he's going to bring in. Look what he's doing for the MLB. Here's what he's doing for the MLB. He's screwing everything up. Whatever growth the MLB has been growing to is falling apart again because he's giving these teams or these owners the opportunity to sit back and relax and let him make the decisions. And his decisions are completely wrong. Wrong. And I'm telling you right now, if anybody doesn't want to write, and I would write, I might do that. I might write to the commissioner. That would be a good idea. I would like to see what he's going to say to me when I actually write a story to him. And that's what we're going to do after this. We're going to write a story to the commissioner, and we're going to send it to the MLB. Mm-hmm. And I want to see if he'll answer my question.
Will this be as maddening as what happened when you sent your story to the NFL after you went to the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be just as worse. Yeah. I think it's going to be just as worse.
You were infuriated that day.
Just think about it. As a fan of professional baseball, I'm a big fan of professional baseball. I've been watching baseball since the age of 5. And as a big fan of watching Don Mattingly play in the 80s, and I never got a chance to see my team win championships until 96 when Derek Jeter came into the picture and Bernie Williams was there for 3 years. And they traded for Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill and brought in Tino Martinez in a trade. That was when, and they brought Scott Brocious in, in free agency. That was when baseball was baseball. That was when baseball was fun to watch. As much as I couldn't stand Bud Selig. I couldn't stand him. As a man, look what he did at the All-Star game in the 90s. What was it, 98, 99? He decided, it was the All-Star game. Didn't have enough players, and there was no winner in the All-Star game. Do you remember what year?
Oh, the one that ended in a tie?
Yes.
I think that was 2002.
Whatever it was. That's why I'm asking you to speak, Speedy.
I didn't know if it was something else other than the tie, because not enough players. I was thinking there was going to be a complete cancellation or something like that.
I'm just disgusted as a fan, as a sports fan, knowing that when you look at the big picture of where the MLB is and what Rob Manfred is doing to the league and the way he's transitioning the league the way he wants it to be, it's not for the better, it's for the worse. And the fans should be upset about it. And if you're a fan, you should write to Rob Manfred because I wouldn't be happy. I'm not happy right now. So if I was you, I wouldn't be happy either. This story with the Astros, the fact that he has not suspended any player on that team, not one player. Not one player on that team.
They might do it with the Red Sox evidence.
They're not suspending any players. Guarantee it. I don't care what he says. Oh, we'll look more into it. No, you're not looking any more into it. It's over.
No, I meant in a comparative.
He's not going to compare it. He's going to do what.
Red Sox,
no, he's going to do. No, he's not. He's going to do whatever he wants to the Red Sox, just like he did whatever he wanted to the Astros.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think in terms of the fairness level of the both, they might both get away with it and both not deserve to. Or again, we know what happened with the Astros, which is ridiculous. Where again, they're going to basically get a pass. So whatever happens in terms of the players, because they weren't initially suspended, might be in comparison to what happens with the Red Sox. They might suspend a bunch of players at once. They might suspend nobody at once. We don't know. But right now, you're right. It is nobody, and it is ridiculous.
631-965-4990. As you guys know, this is Down to the Wire. We are live every single Monday and Tuesday here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network studios. How do you find us, guys? Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And guys, our app will be out in a few weeks. Yes, it's definitely coming out now. And it's almost done. I sent it out. I sent a clip out to Ryan. I showed Speedy a couple of clips on our app. I'm very excited. I can't wait until it comes out. And I have some big news to announce when it fully goes through. I think a lot of fans out there have been waiting for this, and I have wonderful news. It probably is not going to be announced today until I get all the information, but I have wonderful news to tell all the fans in the very, very near future. So stay tuned for that. When we come back, we're going to get into some NFL information. And by the way, we're going to talk about some free agency. We're going to talk about what the Jets need to do in a draft. I want to get into it. The draft is 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away?
April 23rd.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. We're going to actually have a draft party here. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have Tyler Harrison joining us and possibly Mike Guido. So it's going to be fun. And I'm looking forward to it, as you guys know. When we come back, NFL, we're going to go into the NFL South, right?
AFC and NFC South, yes.
South, so the NFL South. And we're going to go into the free agents that they brought in and what they should do in the draft here on Down to the Wire.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Attention, fantasy sports fans. Does it strike you as odd that the popularity of fantasy sports continues to grow, but the game itself never seems to change? Drafting players to be a part of your fantasy team is cool, but are you looking for something new? If you're a sports fan and you actively look for new ways to have fun and compete while watching sports, you gotta check out StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com. Statement Games is a new, simple, yet innovative form of sports gaming that is changing the way thousands of fans view sporting events. With Statement Games, you select player and game props or statements to compete in tournaments for prizes. Sign up for free using your Google or Facebook account. No credit card or debit card information is required. Try StatementGames.com today and watch how we take fantasy sports to the next level.
StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Where do you find these tracks, man? Temple of the Dog?
They're songs I know. This is actually the combination of Pearl Jam's lead singer, Eddie Vedder, and Soundgarden's lead singer, Chris Cornell, who passed away just recently. They made one album, and this was the biggest hit off of it.
Really?
Called Hunger Strike, yep.
And this is one of your favorite albums?
It's decent. I would say their Pearl Jam and Soundgarden stuff is better.
I'm a Pearl Jam fan. I'm not a Soundgarden fan, but I'm a big Pearl Jam fan. But anyways, Eddie Vedder's one of the best singers of all time. So I love his voice. One of the most unique voices you'll ever hear. But
I agree.
Anyways, as you guys know, this is Down to the Wire. And remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. We were just talking about the Astros. But I really want to get into, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to one guy and one guy only. Darrelle Revis an hour ago was named to the
all-decade team for the 2010s decade.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Darrelle Big Daddy Revis, who liked to piss the Jets off because he didn't like to sign the contracts that the Jets wanted him to sign. He only signed the contracts that he liked to sign. But you have to give a shout out to Darrelle Revis, who I believe is one of the greatest, if not the second or third greatest corner to ever play the game. You have to give him a lot of credit. I don't care what Richard Sherman says. I don't care what anybody says.
Richard Sherman is not a top 3 corner of all time.
He thinks he is.
I'm sure he does.
And he thinks he's better than Darrelle Revis. But Darrelle Revis came out. Darrelle Revis came out before the Super Bowl, and he said that as much as everybody thinks that Richard Sherman's a great corner, he can't cover, and he proved it. In that game, he couldn't cover certain wide receivers, including Hill, at certain aspects of the game. So
actually, he was good against Hill. He was bad against the other ones.
He made mistakes against Hill too. He made his mistakes against Hill too. So Give a shout out to Darrell Revis, to me, one of the greatest corners to ever play the game. I do want to get into the New York Jets before we get into the NFC and AFC South. And a lot of people look at the New York Jets and they go up and down on what Joe Douglas is doing. Why hasn't the Jets made a big splash? And there was no big splash names that were available in free agency this year. There wasn't. The only big name was Conklin, and he practically picked his team before free agency even started. So he wasn't going to the New York Jets. Jack Conklin knew where he was going before free agency even opened up. Mm-hmm. He was the biggest name available. But let's go look up and down the players the Jets added to this team. And you tell me, with the money that he has spent, and these are not guaranteed contracts, and most of these contracts are between 2 and 3 years, and he can opt out after the first year because the only guarantee money he offered was maybe half of it or a quarter of it. Let's just look at it. Josh Andrews, the center and guard position. The Jets signed him as a free agent, so it didn't cost any money. Yeah, that didn't cost any money.
Backup guy.
Pierre Desir.
I love that move.
He agreed to 1 year, $5.5 million. Now, if he proves himself with the New York Jets this year, they'll give him an extension. Mm-hmm. But he's got to prove himself that he can play in New York. And now Joe Douglas is doing everything that Bill Belichick has done over the years and the Baltimore Ravens have done over the years when he was working for the organization. He is not giving big contracts to superstar players. He believes in building around the draft.
Balance too, because Desir is a versatile young corner. He could be a slot corner. I don't know if he's number one, but he's a good number two, and he's young. So that's what they need in a physical corner, which is very hard to find in today's game. A lot of corners now are more speed-type corners. Finding those bigger guys are going to be hard, and he's been the Colts' best corner the last 2 years.
George Font, which the Seattle Seahawks and their fans were very upset losing him from last year's team, who everybody believes was their best offensive lineman. He signed with the Jets for $27.3 million with a value of $30 million contract, and he only got $16 million guaranteed. And if he doesn't have a good season with the Jets, guess what happens to him? They could drop him, and they don't have to pay him the rest of the money. So that was a good contract from Joe Douglas.
You just have to hope he's not their best tackle, because I think he's a good
it's not going to make a difference.
Second tackle
if
type.
The whole line is good or it's playing well as a team, it doesn't matter if he's the first or he's the second guy.
I know. I'm just saying that you're making a big deal out of him being the Seahawks' best lineman. That doesn't mean the Seahawks line was good, though. So just be aware of that.
No, well, I'm not going to be aware of anything. I know where the Jets are, and I know what the Jets are doing, and they're doing the right thing. Jordan Jenkins, the edge rusher, who thought he was going to get 3 to 4 years with the New York Jets or some other organization. Nobody gave him that contract. Guess what the Jets got him for? They got him for 1 year, $5 million. For an edge rusher for the last back-to-back years, had 8 or 9 sacks. That's a steal for an edge rusher.
Nice move.
That's a steal. If you know anything about football, $5 million for an edge rusher that averages between, in the last 3 years, 8 to 9 sacks is a steal.
He improved as a run stopper, too, last year, too. That was a big weakness of him before that.
Alex Lewis, who they brought in as a free agent last year. Actually, a trade. They traded a 5th-round draft pick for him from Baltimore. They brought him in, Alex Lewis. They re-signed Alex Lewis to a $16 or $17 million deal with only like $10 million guaranteed. That's a steal for an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. Connor McGovern, who I think was the biggest move they made in the offseason, who came out today and says he's so excited to play for this team because I think the Jets are building something special. He came out and said it. You know what the Jets paid him? A 3-year deal worth about $27 million, $18 million guaranteed.
For a versatile young lineman, that's nice.
He's going to be your starting center. He's got a good background playing center. He was one of the top 6 centers in football last year. And they got him on the cheap. Look what Morris got last year from the Buffalo Bills. What about, what's his name again, what the Jets wanted last year?
Paredes.
Yes.
He played well last year.
Yeah, but how much did he get?
I think he got, I want to say 3 years and $35 million or
$35 million. McGovern got 3 years, $27 million, only $18 million guaranteed.
3 years, 27. So it's about the same.
Patrick, I can never pronounce his name.
Anwansor.
And he's on terms of disclosure on what the contract was. What did you think about that? Because I don't know much about Patrick.
I think the reason they did it is just for chemistry with C.J. Mosley, being that they both played with the Ravens at certain points. He played well as the second middle linebacker in the 3-4 defense because the Ravens do like to do hybrid concepts, but he was good in coverage for the most part, good speed to the outside. He was an okay run stopper.
You don't need him for that. They have guys that can stop the run.
So I think as a second guy, if Greg Williams does continue to do a 3-4 defense, I think it's a nice move. Again, with the Jets linebacking talent, they're going to probably rotate around it anyway, so he's not going to be on the field all the time, but it's still a nice move, though.
They lose Robbie Anderson, and they bring in Perriman, who I think was practically the same player.
They are really the same player, and I think he's a little more consistent, so I think that's a good thing for them.
The problem with him is he's injury prone.
He is.
He can't stay on the field. Mm-hmm. If he has a good season, if he can stay on the field, he's going to have a good season with Sam Darnold, because now Sam Darnold has not one but two slot receivers, because I think Perriman is more of a slot receiver than he is of an outside guy.
But he's also a good deep threat, though, too, so he can be an outside guy. He can
so
move
is
around.
Crowder. I think Crowder could be a deep threat, too.
Yeah, but Crowder is better on shorter routes, whereas Perriman's kind of a mixed bag in terms of what routes he's good at, and I think he's a more well-rounded route runner than Robbie Anderson is. Now, he has similar drop problems. He has obviously similar size problems, but again, he doesn't have the off-field issues, and he's more versatile. He can move around.
Brian Poole, bringing him back. He had a great season last year in the slot. He was taking every team's slot receiver. He played fabulous, especially in the second half of the season when he had to do more with all the injuries that they had at the corner position.
And safety, too.
And Johnson. And Johnson, what he did for the last couple of years, they needed to bring in a guy that was going to be not a star, but a player that could fill in the gaps, and he was that guy. And then Greg Von Rotten, who I think...
probably a backup offensive lineman.
It doesn't matter. Backup... And I love it when you say backup, because you can never have enough offensive linemen, just like you can never have enough pitching. So stop calling him a backup, because he could be a starter before the season starts. So stop calling him a backup just because his numbers don't show that he is a starting offensive lineman. If you've seen where he has played and how he's played over the years, he was a starting offensive lineman. I don't care if he's a backup or a starter. If he plays well, they're trying to redefine their offensive line. They're going to find the best players that fit together, that work together the best. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're planning to do. So if he plays better than Font, he's going to take Font's job. That's what it is. He is going to bring as many offensive linemen that are gritty, rugged players. These are all, if you know anything about these guys, Van Rotten, George Font, McGovern, they're all guys that open their mouths at the line of scrimmage. They're all mean guys. They're not nice guys. And that's what the Jets need to be. They have to be mean in the trenches. This is something that the Jets have had problems for years. They have not had mean guys. Mangold, anybody that knows, everybody says Mangold's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. And I met on the field, Nick Mangold, he is speechless, quiet, and he beats people up on the field. DePrickashaw Ferguson, everybody thought he was a shoo-in, right? Pushed him around. The guy never missed a game. He missed one game in his career. The guy was one of the best left tackles in football for 9 years straight. He gave them an attitude at the left side of their line. That's why they've had, at that time, one of the best offensive lines for years, because of the centerfold of Mangold, who's a center, McGovern, and a guy like Ferguson. So, again, I understand what people are going to say, and they're going to say, well, it's the Jets. I wanted to get into the Jets because I was talking to a couple of Jet fans yesterday, and the Jet fans were telling me, what did Joe Douglas do? Why didn't he make a big splash? What splash was he going to make? That's the question. What do you think he could have made to bring in a player from free agency that was going to make the Jets that much better? That's the question. Who do we got on the line? Jeff, what's going on, my friend?
Buddy, I don't know how you get this excited to talk about
the
Jets.
I'm not getting excited with the Jets. I'm giving information on all the fans that told me yesterday and the day before that the Jets did not make any moves of significance. They're wrong. They
really haven't though. They really like any move they've made has been like a lateral move, right? You can argue is Robbie Anderson better than Brashad? That's like a lateral move.
Why is it a lateral move?
Upgraded.
You're not giving a. You're not giving.
Didn't upgrade there. They certainly didn't upgrade.
They upgraded on the center position. They upgraded on the left tackle position. They upgraded on the right tackle position. So what are you saying? They made upgrades. They made an upgrade at the corner position. Absolutely did. So
Pierre Desir is a decent move. I will give you that. The rest of these moves completely not exciting whatsoever.
They don't have to be. They have to fit.
You're telling me about all these offensive linemen they signed. You're the same guy that said Ryan Khalil is like going to save center position for the Jets. He was awful.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Now, you keep bringing up the things that I have said. Why don't you, or the things that you disagree with I have said. Why don't you bring up the things that I was right about, which you don't, because you have no reason to call up the show and attack me.
I can't name any.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here, Jeff. There's so many things. There are so many things. There are so many things that you have said. There are so many things that you have said over the years that are completely false and bogus. And you want to know something? When you would take a shot at me when I'm telling you that McGovern is better than Harrison, and that was a quality move by the Jets, because if you don't think McGovern was one of the top 6, top 7 centers in football, then I don't know what you were watching last year, because he played for the Broncos, and the Broncos offensive line was pretty damn good at certain aspects of the game. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that you're ruling out the X factor here.
What is the X factor?
Anytime someone slips on the green, they turn to shit.
Yeah. Well, why? Because you're a Patriot fan? You got something bad to say about the Jets all the time?
No. I'm just stating facts. C.J. Mosley, I thought that was
What's up, Charlie Rose?
Good move for the Jets. I thought that was an exciting, good move for the Jets last year. C.J. Mosley's a good player, been very durable, slid on that green. Boy, he missed the whole season, didn't he?
Charlie Rose, what's going on, man? He says, at WWSRN, what y'all think the Dallas Cowboys need to do in this year's draft? Speedy.
Oh, we got.
I would definitely.
Is that the B? Is that the B?
It's not the B.
It is not the B. It is Charlie Rose. I would say Charlie, pass rush, because you lost Robert Quinn and DeMarcus Lawrence when he was struggling on the other side. Being double teamed a lot obviously wasn't the same. So give him another pass rusher or secondary. Or secondary. They need corners badly, or a safety. If Grant Delpit falls to 17, maybe that's where you go. And there's a lot of corner depth at that 17th pick if they want to go there too. So definitely options.
They've already addressed pass rush.
They did? With what? With McCoy you're talking about? Well, that's interior.
Got McCoy. They went.
Alden Smith.
Alden Smith. Alden Smith is what you're trusting?
They went and got McCoy. Who else did they get to play alongside?
Dontari Poe, who's a nose tackle. He's not really a pass rusher.
And Alden Smith,
who hasn't played in 4 years.
So there's pass rush. They've already addressed it. What do you mean they need to address pass rush?
You're ready to trust Alden Smith to be a consistent number 2 pass rusher?
Dude, they already have DeMarcus Lawrence there. They added Gerald McCoy. They added Dontari Poe. How many more guys?
Dontari Poe's not a pass rusher. They added him to help their run defense.
How many more guys do they need to add before you're satisfied with their pass rush? Do they have to have 11 down defensive linemen for you to say now they've upgraded?
Okay, Dontari Poe's not a pass rusher. He's a run-stopping nose tackle type. Gerald McCoy's a good pass rusher, fine, but if somebody like Espinoza, who had a bad combine or Caleb Von Chason, they're good options to pick at 17. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the only thing they could do. Like I said, if they could take a safety or a corner, too. I think they're both good options, but that's it. But I think pass rusher is a good option, though, at 17 as well.
They certainly could use a corner. I agree with you. They could certainly use a corner. But I think that they could use a wide receiver way more. You can't just roll with the garbage they threw out there last year. And, and Amari Cooper's all right. I'm not going to, shit on everybody, but Amari Cooper. But you got to have someone that's going to play on the opposite side of him, or you need to find a slot receiver. I wouldn't mind seeing them go wide receiver.
They could. I just think they also, if a pass rusher falls like that, they could get a receiver in the second round.
They need another
because there's a lot of receiving depth.
They need another wide receiver, especially in Mike McCarthy's offense, the West Coast offense. You have to go after a wide receiver because you can't be elusive in the open field with one wide receiver who, to me, is not a number one. He's more of a really good number two.
He's a number one, but again,
that's your number one. He's not a number one.
He's a number one, but again, he's like a middle to low end number one where he's had his streakiness at times too.
Charlie Rose, second and last question, I guess. Or no, second question. He doesn't say last, but what y'all think about the LA Rams' new logo?
I'm indifferent on it. It's not bad. It's not great.
I didn't see it.
It is the bees of NFL logos.
Why do you think that? Is it that bad?
It's trash.
Really?
It's absolute trash.
Okay.
It's absolute.
I don't know if that's trash. I mean, it's not beautiful. It says LA and has a ram. All right, it's not ugly.
All they did was copy the Chargers logo.
I'm sorry?
All they did was copy the Chargers logo, basically.
They added the ram to the A. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's not great.
It's pretty bad.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
Right, that's what I said. I'm indifferent on it.
That's where
I would say it's one of the top 10 worst redesigns of a logo the league has ever seen.
And let me ask you, which one's the worst? The Jets?
No, the Buccaneers by far. That dumb helmet with the big flag on it. Get out, dude. Bring back the creamsicle.
Agreed. I love that one. That's my favorite throwback.
So there you go, Charlie. You got Jeff's opinion, you got Speedy's opinion, you got my opinion. I'm indifferent with it. I don't know what to expect. I want to see what the helmets are going to look like, and the helmets and the color will really bring out the picture, because I'm a logo guy, and I build logos, and I design logos, as you guys can see. It has to define it by the color. I want to see what the colors look with the helmets, with the jerseys. That's what's really what's going to bring out the logo or make the logo worse. So that would be my opinion towards it. So
go ahead and tell me you don't love the creamsicle, Errol. Go ahead and tell me you don't.
I did. I like the colors. Yeah, I like the colors. And I don't think the Buccaneers colors and the Buccaneers logo is that bad. I like the
previous one. The previous one in this color scheme was all right. But now with the helmet, with the giant logo on the helmet, that's so dumb. Get that out of here, dude.
Yeah, I like the old Pittsburgh Steelers colors. Love the old Pittsburgh Steelers colors.
Not a fan of those. Not a fan of those.
I know.
There's so much. Much exactly kind of like the old Green Bay Packers ones. Those are terrible too.
Yeah, but I like.
Yeah, they're a little different than that though. Those were navy blue and like that ugly yellow.
Yeah, I'm not a big Packers fan colored person either. I like the Minnesota Vikings old colors and the Minnesota Vikings. The Baltimore. I'm talking about when.
Oh, the Ravens jerseys are my favorite.
No, I'm talking about the old Ravens jerseys.
Oh, like the black ones when they were black and purple.
Yes, when they came from the Browns, when they were the Browns, and they came from the Browns to become the Baltimore Ravens. I love those colors too. So, I mean, they're all different teams. They're all different colors that you like and you don't like. There's certain teams that look like clowns, like the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I hate those colors. I hate those jerseys.
I think those.
I like those. Their black ones are cool though.
Look.
I think
the Cardinals have a classic.
I hate it. I think it's ugly.
I like their black ones. Though.
Especially when Matt Leinart played for them. I remember those because I used to like Matt Leinart when he came out of college. I followed him at USC, and when he was drafted by them and he wore those colors, they looked ugly on him. It looked terrible on him. So I wasn't a big fan of the Cardinals colors, and I'm still not. And I'm also a big Kurt Warner fan, and I followed them when he played for Arizona too. So I don't know. So you could go back and forth on what jerseys you like and what you don't like. Jeff, you want to stay on and go through
you know what the worst logo in sports is?
The Browns.
Dallas.
Browns.
Dallas.
I like the Dallas colors. I do. I like
not so much. It's not.
I'm
so
not
much
a logo
fan.
I'm not their logo.
Not so much a logo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Not so much a logo as it is a rating. 1 star.
Well, I'm not I don't like their logo, but I like their colors. I love their colors. I think Dallas has one of the best colors out of all the jerseys in the NFL. I just love the gray, the blue, the white. I like those colors. I really do. But as far as the logo is concerned, I'm not a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys logo. I'm not really. So
the Browns are the worst.
I like
just a plain helmet.
I mean, the Jets they made a change. I actually like their black jersey.
I love their black jerseys.
Yeah, and I have it. I actually have their jersey with my name on the back of it. I love it. I just didn't like the different change of the helmets. You know what I mean? Even though the helmets are nice and they're shiny, I think they should have came back with the old logo. You know what I mean? The old Jets logo.
Oh, the 80s one?
Yes, the 80s and 90s one. That was the logo that I absolutely love with the New York Jets, and I think that's what they should have came back with, but they didn't. But all in all, I like the Jets colors. I just
what's the one team that you would change if you had an option? What's the one that you would change?
The Browns.
Well, I don't like the garbage brown that they have, but I don't like that color. But
and their logo is just a stupid helmet. It's a plain helmet.
What colors? What team that I would think? That's
the one for me would be Detroit. I'd get that lion right off the helmet and put the cowardly lion on from the Wizard of Oz.
The cowardly lion.
I mean, can you blame them? The players are probably scared of what that front office is going to do.
My favorite jersey in the NFL is Seattle. My favorite jersey in the NFL is Seattle. They have the best jersey.
I'll give you another one that's terrible that was changed and they kind of changed back. The dark blue Chargers uniforms were trash forever.
Oh, the light blue. Yeah, I agree with that.
Their jerseys now are nice. I've always liked the Chargers, like new San Diego. The last San Diego Chargers jersey, I like those colors. Love them, light blue.
Yeah, but the new one is like the old one.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the old look. You know, when they went to like the navy blue, that was trash.
Right.
Jeff, you want to stay on because we're going to go through the North. The South of the NFC and the South of the AFC. We're going to go through what they've brought in for free agency and what they need to do in the draft. You want to join us and help us out?
Oh my God! Is that segment even long enough to cover what's been added to that division?
You want to stick on?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
All right. We'll start in the NFC South with the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they've had one of the worst off seasons of any team so far. Devontae Freeman gone, Desmond Trufant gone, Devondre Campbell gone, and Vic Beasley all gone from that team.
Good riddance.
They bring in
Austin
Hooper, which I think they were actually smart not to overpay him because he had one good season. Really.
Where did he go?
Cleveland, which they overpaid for him badly too.
They overpaid for everybody.
Yeah. All right. So again, they lose Beasley. They replace him with Dante Fowler, which I didn't like. Double the price, 3 years, $48 million for a guy who's really just a speed rusher. Don't like that. And then Todd Gurley. It's a gamble. We'll see if it works, but don't like it. In terms of the draft, they're going to have to do more defense. Pass rush should be.
I actually like that move, the Todd Gurley move.
I mean, I think if you're going to gamble on an injury-prone running back, I think you're better off keeping Freeman, who you know fits in that system. That's just me, but all right. In terms of the draft, I think pass rush.
Melvin Gordon is an injury-prone player.
He is an injury-prone player, but Todd Gurley has arthritic knees.
Okay. That doesn't mean he can't have a good season.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson tore his ACL and MCL and practically his whole knee, and he came back, and he was the best running back in football.
All right. That was one miraculous recovery.
And why can't Gurley do that?
I actually think that's going to be a good place for Todd Gurley because Atlanta's system is a two running back system. That actually might help his durability.
But who's that second running back? He's not there right now. Maybe it's a draft pick. I don't know.
They have other running backs. Come on.
Who's there? But Brian Hill is like a guy you're going to trust as a second running back?
Brian Hill was terrific last year. Go ahead and tell me.
He had like 2 good games, Jeff. I don't know. All right, in terms of the draft, I think pass rush and corners are going to have to be their priority because they lost Trufant now, so they lost Alford last offseason. So you're trusting Isaiah Oliver, and I think Kendall Sheffield's their other corner right now. So they're going to need some corner help and pass rush badly. Like I said, for the Cowboys, either Chason or Espinoza, if he falls to their pick at 16, would be where I would go. Linebacker, again, it would be something, but it's not really a big strength in this draft, maybe until later in the first round. So maybe if they want to trade up to the middle end of the second round, they could get someone, or beginning of the second round, they find someone to replace Campbell. So that's where I would go. And maybe a running back in the third round or something like that to give some insurance to Gurley.
Go ahead.
All right, as for the Carolina Panthers...
Go through the whole South.
As for the Carolina Panthers, they also lost a lot this offseason, starting with obviously Luke Kuechly retiring, which was not surprising, but with the players retiring younger now. But again, they lost him. They lost a lot on that defensive line with Addison gone, McCoy, and Dontari Poe gone.
They lost a lot of players this offseason. And then they bring in a new coach. I'm very interested to see what this new coach is going to bring to the table because this is a rookie coach that's never coached in the NFL. So all those signs are not good. So
yeah, so a lot of new players on that team. They traded Trey Turner for whatever reason to the Chargers for Russell Okung, who's a 31-year-old tackle who hasn't been good in a while. Very strange move. I like to hear Whitehead 1 year, $2.5 million. Obviously, he's not going to be anywhere close to Luke Kuechly, but he'll at least fill the void. He's a decent linebacker. Trey Boston's not bad to bring back. They bring in Robbie Anderson for 2 years, $20 million.
What are you laughing about? That was a good deal for them.
Really?
Yeah.
$10 million a year for Robbie Anderson. You just listed all the problems Robbie Anderson
I'm not
had.
a big fan of Robbie Anderson, but for them, for that organization, he first of all, he has some kind of background with Teddy Bridgewater. Him and Teddy have been friends for a very long time, so...
Yeah, but you want to know what? This is what Speedy does, because this will just highlight how stupid Speedy is. Sorry, but it's just the truth. Robbie Anderson isn't a number 1 wide receiver. We all get that. But guess what? He's going to a place where he can be a number 3, and he'll probably thrive in that role, because believe it or not, the Panthers had 2 of the top 3 receivers in the league last year with Curtis Samuel and who was the other kid?
DJ Moore. Yes, and I understand that, but they're
Right.
both. But Anderson's a similar type to
all
them.
you want, but he's probably going to thrive in that role as a number 3. Okay, he wasn't a number 1 on the Jets, but who is?
I know that. I'm just saying he's too similar to those guys already. I'm not going to pay a number 3 receiver $10 million when I have other needs.
I don't even remember the last time the Jets had a number 1. Santonio Holmes? And he
for a year, maybe.
I mean,
no. Listen, I wasn't taking a shot at the Jets.
No, I'm taking a shot at the Jets. I don't remember the last time they had a number 1. Braylon Edwards wasn't a number 1. He was a number 2.
He was a number 1 when he got there, but he didn't play like
He was a number 2.
But this is what we have forever said about Robbie Anderson. That he's not number 1, but he would probably thrive if he had, it's like Amari Cooper in Dallas. We were just talking about that. Amari Cooper's fine. He's terrific. That's great. But you got to have someone on the opposite side of him. And Robbie Anderson has never had that, and now he will in Carolina.
No, I get that. I just wouldn't pay $10 million. I think there's better things you could pay $10 million for.
Charlie Rose actually wrote something to us on Facebook. What do you think the Panthers are giving Cam? Oh, wait, hold on.
Well, they can't trade him now,
What
Charlie.
do you think of the Panthers giving Cam to the Pats after Brady went to the Bucs?
They can't trade him now. They got him already.
No. He giving him away, pretty much. He's a free agent. That's what he's saying. Giving him away. Dude, does he go to the Pats? I don't think he's going to the Pats.
I don't either.
It won't happen. It won't happen. The Patriots... Dude, do you know what the Patriots have left the salary cap room right now?
Not a lot, right?
I think it's $12 million or something like that.
Yeah, $2 million.
Oh, $2 million. Wow. Jeez.
I'm surprised because the Patriots always good with the salary cap. Every year they're good with the salary cap.
Well, they have $13 million of dead money from Brady leaving.
Right.
That would have saved them like 6 if Brady had stayed. But so it's $13 million this year. But next year the Patriots have over $100 million in cap space. So okay, this is going to be a down year for the Patriots in cap space. Next year they have $100 million.
I think the Patriots will be fine, especially with that extra team making the playoffs. I think the Patriots have still a very good chance of making the playoffs, especially how weak the AFC is. It's just very weak.
They're a 7-9 team this year.
I think they're better than that.
I think they could be that too, but again, if
I think they're an
some
8-8 team.
circumstances happen, or again, if the AFC is really that weak, maybe the pressure of the AFC East gets to them, maybe they could squeak it out. We don't know.
Listen, as long as Bill Belichick is running that organization and that team, they could be a 9-7 and 8-8 team, and they could squeak in and make the playoffs. And I think they will. I think they will.
I want to see what they do with the draft, but as of right now, they're a 7-9 team because just look at their schedule. They won the division last year, so they play all the division winners. They play Houston, they play Baltimore, they play Kansas City. Those aren't going to be wins for the Patriots this year. They're going to have, Buffalo's much tougher. Who knows if they can even beat, but Buffalo might beat them twice, right? Miami always seems to beat them at least once, right? So I'm just giving you 6 losses right off rip. And I haven't even looked at the rest of the schedule.
NFC West and AFC West is the rest of their schedule.
Oh, NFC West, that seems like a cakewalk, right? Because they'll only have to play the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers who made the Super Bowl last year.
It's going to be very interesting. It really is.
They're going to be a bad team this year. The year after, they might be able to bounce back if they can get...
They'll be fine as long as Bill Belichick is over there. I think they're a borderline playoff team in my eyes. I do.
But Cam Newton to the Patriots is...
It's not happening. That's not happening. It's not happening.
Unless they figure out a way to somehow either convince Cam Newton to only take $1 million, which is what Brian Hoyer got, or they magically restructure a bunch of contracts to free up some salary cap room, Cam Newton is not happening.
Don't be surprised if the Patriots draft a quarterback in the late first round. They move up in the late first round or draft if somebody falls to them in the late first round draft.
They don't have the draft picks to move up.
Well, I'm just saying they could find a way.
Well,
Trust me.
They lost their second to trading Sanu.
Knowing the Patriots, they'll find a way. So, and And I do believe that in the second round, if they don't get one in the first, they'll get one in the second. I believe the Patriots will draft a quarterback in this year's draft.
Well, they won't get one in the second because they don't have a.
They don't have a second round pick. They traded for Sanu.
Okay,
I think they have multiple third-round picks though.
So they can move up in the second round.
They have four third-round picks.
All right, so they can move. Okay. So they can move up in the second round, and I do believe if somebody falls to them in the second round that they like, they'll move up and get them. And that's Bill Belichick. He'll find if he likes I'm sure he likes a quarterback in his draft. He'll find a way to get him. So and they did that with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo fell out of the first round. It got him in the second round. So I know
that you're a conspiracy theorist, Errol. So you'll love this. Is Bill Belichick just trying to be bad for 1 year so he can, stockpile some draft picks, that kind of thing, and then, maybe be, if they miss the playoffs, what would they be drafting? 13, 14, 12,
maybe.
13, 14, 15,
if they're 7 and 9, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How much more would it take to move up to number 1 and get Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, it depends on who's number 1, though.
They're not getting Trevor Lawrence no matter what. And I listened to Mikey C's speculations that Trevor Lawrence will be a Patriot. Even if the Patriots have the 5th, they're not going to be that bad. They're going to be number 1, number 2, or number 3. But they're going to be bad. If they're bad, they're going to be a 7-19. That means they're going to be a 6 or 7 seed. They're going to get the 6th or 7th. They're not going to move up to get Trevor Lawrence because whoever goes number 1 is not moving out of that position. Whoever is drafted, even if they have a quarterback in the future, they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence.
But after this year, let's be honest, after this year, who could possibly need a quarterback? Because, if the Bengals are taking Joe Burrow, they won't need one. If the Chargers are taking Justin Herbert or Jordan Love, they won't need one. Miami certainly won't need one. They can choose between Rosen or Tua or whoever they're taking.
There might be a team, Chicago,
yeah. Jacksonville.
But they just traded for 5 years of Nick Foles, right? But Jacksonville's the other one. Jacksonville's going to get the left quarterback.
Jacksonville, even if the Miami Dolphins decide to go with Tua, that doesn't mean that Tua is going to be 100% healthy. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they like Trevor Lawrence. Maybe we don't know. Maybe they were just smoke screening Tua the whole time.
Who knows? We don't know what these teams are going to do. And again, even though they have a starting quarterback now, if Trevor Lawrence is sitting over there and they believe he's the best prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck, they're going to draft him. No matter if they have one. The Lions also. They're looking for a quarterback too. So I absolutely believe, even if they draft a quarterback in the second or third round, if they get the number 1 pick, they're drafting.
How about the team we were just talking about? If Bridgewater's not the answer, Carolina,
listen,
they could do it too.
And I'm saying this, and this is the truth, and I'm a Jet fan, and I love Sam Darnold. If the Jets are drafting number 1, they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. I'm telling you right now. Trevor Lawrence is one of those quarterbacks that are a sure thing. They believe he's a sure thing in the NFL. They're not going to, no team is going to trade out of that position. And if you do trade into that position, you're going to give up a lot to get him. A lot.
Right.
Because
that's going to be the team looking for the haul back, which again, maybe the Patriots have that best haul, but again, there's going to be a lot of other teams that we've seen them trade for draft picks stockpiled, and like Miami just did this year. There's going to be other teams that start to do that too. Maybe the Jaguars are trying to do it. They're selling short on a lot of them, but maybe they're trying to do it too. There's always going to be those other teams that are going to start doing that and take the Dolphins model. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but there are going to be teams taking on that model.
Go ahead, Speedy. Finish up.
So New Orleans Saints. This is one of the NFC South teams that actually did really well this offseason. They did what they needed to do to get Drew Brees
Your
back.
lovers.
Really?
Yes.
My lovers.
Them in Atlanta have always been your lovers.
I just bashed Atlanta. I said they had one of the worst offseasons.
This year.
Okay.
This year. Last year, for the last 2 years, you loved them. Go ahead.
And you loved them the year before. What's your point?
Yes, I did. When they were actually decent.
They had the same roster.
They were actually
plus Calvin Ridley and a bunch of other young linemen.
Decent the year before last. So,
yes, they were. I know.
Not last year. I didn't think they were going to be any good. But go ahead.
So the Saints bring back Drew Brees. They needed to do that. 2 years, $50 million. All right, you paid him, but you needed to pay him. They bring back Taysom Hill for now. We'll see where he goes after that. He wants out. 2 really good moves. Malcolm Jenkins, I think, was an excellent move for them. 4 years, $32 million. They needed a safety. They needed a slot corner. I think that's a perfect move for them. And it's only $8 million a year. That's not bad. $16.25 million guaranteed.
Too much.
And then
for a washed-up wide receiver.
Malcolm Jenkins?
I'm talking about Manuel Sanders. I didn't
even get to Manuel Sanders.
I think that's crazy.
And then DJ Swearinger's another one, another box safety. I think is a nice move for them. 1 year, $1.1 million. Sanders, I kind of agree with you on.
They gave Malcolm Jenkins a lot of money.
I don't think that's that bad, though.
That's a lot of money
$8 million a year for
how old is he?
16.2.
How old is he?
I think he's 31. That's not. I don't think that's all awful. And he knows the Saints already. He'll know how to.
That's a lot of money for a 31-year-old.
I don't think it's that bad. And they really needed a safety. It was one of their biggest things they needed. They lost Von Bell. Marcus Williams kind of took a step back last year. I think it was a good move for them.
You got to get through this, Speedy.
I agree with you on Sanders, though. I think it's a little much for him. But again, it's also a need. So we'll see. It's only 2 years.
A need? The 49ers, how many draft picks did they trade for Emmanuel Sanders? And he was a
that was a bad
bust.
trade. I agree.
He was a complete bust. They gave up second round and a fourth round for Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's going to be more of a rotational type receiver. And I think $8 million is still a little much for that. But again, it's only 2 years, so it might work. So, all right, so that's the Saints. Tampa, we know what they did with Tom Brady.
What do they need to do in the draft, the Saints?
Oh, the Saints? More secondary could always help, I would say. Or maybe
they lost Eli Apple, so they're going to need secondary help.
Okay. I see what you did there. Nice try, though. And then receiver. I think that's really it. They really have everything else on that team.
There's a kid coming out in the fourth round. His last name is Vibrator.
Oh, God. Enough.
Yes. Jeff Vibrator.
Stop it.
Go ahead.
As for Tampa, they brought in Tom Brady. I mean, we'll see how he fits with Arians. We already went over that a lot. Kevin Minter, former Cardinal, fits with Todd Bowles. I think that's a nice move. No terms agreed to on that deal. And they bring back JPP and Ndamukong Suh. And they franchise tag Shaq Barrett. We'll see what that does. He had one great season so far. But again, he never got the opportunity with Denver. So we'll see. In terms of the draft offensive line, I think it has to be a priority now that they got Brady in the first round because he's not going to be able to move around at 43 years old. They have to take one of those tackles, even if it means trading up a little bit to steal one of those 4 tackles.
Good luck.
And then second round after that, I would work on the defense.
I like the Greg. By the way, Seattle, which we haven't gone to, I think that was a big acquisition this offseason. Greg Olsen, 1 year, $7 million. We'll get into that tomorrow, but I like that move. But let's go. The Atlanta Falcons. Let me bring this up over here for a second. Computer's slower than yours, Speedy. I don't know if that's stand. Anyways, it's actually frozen, unfortunately. But the Atlanta Falcons, to me, yeah, it's frozen. I don't know how this thing froze.
That's weird.
I don't know. Anyways, go bring up the teams. I got it over here. Okay, Atlanta Falcons. I do like Dante Fowler. He's a good edge rusher. They added an edge rusher, which they've been lacking the last couple of years. Losing Beasley. Beasley went to Tennessee, which I think he could add some firepower on the outside. Something Tennessee was lacking last year in certain edge parts of the game when they're playing good offensive lines. But Beasley couldn't stay healthy for the last couple of years, so we don't know what Beasley's going to be with Tennessee. Dante Fowler is a guy that's been consistent the last couple of years, especially going to the Rams. He did play with Donald, who is one of the best rushers in all of football. So you're adding a guy to a team that's had a lack of something. So we have to see if Dante Fowler could be the lonesome guy, the guy that's going to do everything on the outside. Got a lot of money this offseason, 3 years, $48 million, for a guy that really, what did he have last year, 7 or 8 sacks?
I think he had double digits. I think he had 10.
Do you have 10?
Yeah,
I thought he had 8 or 9.
I think so.
Well, whatever. Go look it up. But anyways, Todd Gurley. No, you don't have to look it up. It's fine. I don't need you looking it up. I want to get through this because we have a lot of other things to do. Todd Gurley, I think, was a good move by them. I know Freeman is no longer with the team, but you got Todd Gurley really on the cheap. 1 year, $6 million. If Todd Gurley has a good season, that was one of the steals in this offseason. I think Todd Gurley had an offseason. He has a good season, he has a bad season. Has a good season, has a bad season. Last season he was hurt. So this season he didn't play that much. So I want to see what Todd Gurley could be when he has the full-time position with the Atlanta Falcons, who has a good offensive line. What the Falcons need to do in this year's draft? That's a good question. They don't need any wide receiving help. They don't need any run back. Well, I would say you could go after a running back.
A third-round running back.
Yeah, running back would help out. I mean, they lost Coleman, they lost Freeman, and they brought in Gurley, another guy that's 26, 27 years old but has knee problems. So they need a backup running back, a guy that could be elusive in the outside and you can move him around and who could block. That's something that Matt Ryan hasn't had the last couple of years, and I don't want to hear about Freeman. Freeman had a problem blocking last year, and that was a big problem why they had a problem with their offensive line. It wasn't their offensive line. I think they need some defense. They really do. And their secondary has been horrendous the last couple of years. They spent a lot of money over the years on the secondary help. All of them have not produced the way you expected them to be. So that's where I think the Atlanta Falcons should go. Carolina. Robbie Anderson, I believe, was a good pickup for them, like Jeff was saying. Giving him a 2-year deal, $10 million, was a good deal. He's a third guy on the outside with all the weapons that they have. You bring in a rookie coach, you need weapons. And the way he coaches, he likes to use 4 wide receivers on the field. So he's gonna move 3 to 4 wide receivers. He's gonna use the running backs as wide receivers as well. So Robbie Anderson's going to play a big part in that offense, especially a deep threat. Teddy Bridgewater was a big pickup for them. I think Teddy is a guy who's a leader. He listens to detail, and he has a very good chemistry with Robbie Anderson. You saw it with the New York Jets in the preseason games. I think Teddy Bridgewater was a big pickup for them. He deserves a second chance. He didn't get paid a lot of money. Signed a 3-year, $63 million contract as a starting quarterback. That's a steal. That's a steal for the Carolina Panthers. I don't like any other moves. I really don't. There was nothing that really stuck out to me as far as the Carolina Panthers. What the Carolina Panthers need to do? Well, they got a good running back. They got good wide receivers now. They need offensive line help, okay? They've had problems on their offensive line the last couple of years. Now, their offensive line over the years when they were a Super Bowl contender were a very good offensive line. They haven't been the same offensive line since then. I think it has a lot to do with injuries, and also they need to add linebacking help. They lost Luke Kuechly. I don't care who they brought in free agency. It's not going to change anything. They need to bring in a guy that's going to give them leadership and a guy that can get to the quarterback and lead that defense, especially their front seven. So that's where I think they need to go in the draft. The Saints, right? We're up to the Saints. Mm-hmm. Bringing back Drew Brees was a no-brainer for them. They needed him. Giving Taysom Hill a first-round tender. I don't know why they did that. Nobody's going to give him that. I don't think Hill is a starting quarterback in this league. I think he's a backup quarterback. I think he's a great backup quarterback. I don't know if he could be a starter in this league. I'm surprised the Patriots didn't take a run on him because the Patriots are looking for that guy, and Hill could be that guy. He really could.
The Patriots would have Taysom Hill, Julian Edelman, who was a college quarterback, and Mohamed Sanu, who threw a lot.
I mean, if anybody could,
that'd be a weird system.
If anybody could do it, it's Bill Belichick making Hill a superstar player.
That'd be an interesting system.
So I'm surprised that I don't think the Patriots give a first-round draft pick for him, but next year he'll be available. And if the Patriots don't have a quarterback and Hill actually gets a chance to play to prove himself again this year, somebody's going to give this kid a chance. He's big, he's strong, he's got elusiveness, he can play at multiple positions, so I like him. Manuel Sanders was a bust. Malcolm Jenkins didn't make any sense. It was too expensive. I like Malcolm Jenkins, too expensive for my blood. Nothing else really stuck out to me this offseason for the Saints. What the Saints need to do is they have to add corner help. They need corner help. And another thing the Saints need, and a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, they need another wide receiver. They really do. You can say whatever you want. They got they have the best wide receiver in football. I don't like their second and third tier wide receivers on that team. And they have underrated tight ends. So I'd like to see what they're going to do in the draft. I think they need to add wide receiving help for that team. And the Buccaneers. They brought in, I believe, the best free agent in this offseason, Tom Brady. Does it make them a Super Bowl contender? No. I think they have some weaknesses, and their big weakness for a quarterback that's a pocket quarterback is their offensive line. Their offensive line is the worst in football. There's no question that it is. Tom Brady went to one of the most explosive offensive teams in football because of the weapons that they have, but the one important thing that they don't have, which Tom Brady had a lack of in New England, was an offensive line. I was very surprised Tom Brady picked the Buccaneers out of all the teams, especially the Chargers, who I think has a better offensive line than the Buccaneers.
Not by much, though. Their
offensive
line's bad,
It's still better.
Right,
it's still better. Not a little better.
It's
a lot better. It's a lot better. The Buccaneers have the worst offensive line in football in every single category. Okay?
The Dolphins have the worst offensive line statistically.
They're going to fix that, though. The Buccaneers will probably end up getting like Andrew Thomas or something in the draft.
We'll see.
That'd be a great move if they could do that.
We'll see. Jason Pierre-Paul coming back. I think that was a good move for them. Ndamukong Suh is washed up. I mean, giving him $8 million. What did he do last year? He was nothing special. Ndamukong Suh is not anywhere close to the player he was. And Ndamukong Suh wasn't even that great of a player. So what do they need to do in the draft? Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. That's what they need. They don't need any defense. I think their secondary has proven themselves with all the number one picks that they have on that defense. I think they're ready to be successful, especially with Todd Bowles, who are the Buccaneers. Their defense was one of the top 10 defenses in football last year, especially in the second half. So
they were number one against the run. Yeah.
So I like the Buccaneers defense as well. So there is the South of the NFC.
All right. So
now the South of the AFC. Actually, Jeff, quickly, what do you think?
I mean, I think, I'm just, you're going to call me a homer, but I think the Buccaneers are now the team to beat. Like, I think getting Tom Brady, I realize he's 43 and he's getting older and he's slowing down and that kind of thing. But, if you look at the Buccaneers team last year with Jameis Winston throwing 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, if Tom Brady can just turn that into 10 interceptions next year, well, that's 20 drives that the defense won't be tired on. Maybe that's 10 more touchdowns, and not points against from what Jameis Winston was doing to them. I think they're going to be a playoff team simply by not so much adding Tom Brady as subtracting Jameis Winston. I think that's what is going to make them so much better. And I think that I like what Carolina's done, and I like adding Emmanuel Sanders to the other side of Michael Thomas. I think that helps, even though I think they also need some more wide receiver help. But I think just not having Jameis Winston there vaults Tampa Bay to the top of that division. Atlanta's still going to stink. Carolina, it remains to be seen if they can turn it on and become a contender. But I think it's Tampa and New Orleans for the supremacy in the South.
All right, Speedy, let's go through the AFC South quickly.
All righty. So we'll start with the Tennessee Titans because they're right down here. Another one that I don't think had a great offseason. They lost some players on their defense. Logan Ryan could be a big loss, especially with the struggles of Malcolm Butler. And I think a
little enthusiasm, Speedy.
And then I think...
Speedy, Jeff, you need to get him pumped up. Smack him around or something.
You got to get him hooker.
That's what he needs.
And then,
definitely
for whatever reason, trading Jarrell Casey for a 7th-round pick, that made no sense either. So I think they're more losers in this instance than winners. I think they overpaid Ryan Tannehill 4 years, $118 million. That's a lot for a guy that... He had a nice season, but again, he's been kind of inconsistent. They lost Conklin. Derrick Henry, they got a franchise tag on, and they got to be able to sign him. But if they don't sign him long-term, that'll be bad. So Titans, I think they're drafting late. They could go a lot of different directions. They have young receivers I think you could trust, but again, I'm still not a big fan of Corey Davis. You're probably going to have to trust him at this point. But again, there's his receiving depth they could definitely go after. Otherwise, you could definitely look at just a value pick, best player available at a linebacker, maybe offensive line. But again, there's not going to be a lot of offensive linemen that are going to be that valuable at the end of the first draft. I like the kid from Auburn as a decent late first-round option, but if he's not there, I would stay away from that and maybe stick to going defense.
What kid from Auburn?
I always forget his name, the Prince Waka, whatever, the tackle.
Oh, okay.
He's a decent, maybe late first.
Derek Brown. I'm like, do you think Derek Brown's going to be there at the end of the
No, there's no way Derek Brown will be there at the end of the first round. I'm talking about the offensive line. If that's a value pick at 29, maybe, but that's really the only offensive lineman I think that would be. Otherwise, just go defense or maybe a receiver for the Titans. We'll go to Indianapolis now. The Colts, I think, have had a decent offseason so far. They bring in Xavier Rhodes on a kind of a prove-it deal, 1 year, $3 million. If you can get the Xavier Rhodes of 2015 to 2017 when he was a top 5 corner in football, you're going to win that deal pretty easily. And the Colts need that kind of veteran corner to help them out.
You know what the problem with you is, Speedy? Is that you look at a name and you overcharge who he is as a player.
For $3 million? I think that's nice.
He hasn't a good season the last 2 years.
Yes, he was really bad last year, I'll give you that, but he was...
But you love that move.
I do.
Yeah, but you hate the Robbie Anderson move.
For $10 million a year?
$10 million a year, they can opt out of the contract. They gave him guaranteed money for 1 year, and they can opt out of the contract, and you don't like that move, but you like that move.
I like Xavier Rhodes, who was a top 5 corner for $3 million.
Top 5 corner 2 years ago. He's not the same guy.
I know that.
He's washed up. He's got knee problems and all that other stuff. At least Robbie Anderson plays on the field. This guy can't stay on the field.
He can't stay on the field because of his DUIs and whatever he does.
Oh, yeah, and Xavier Rhodes can?
Xavier Rhodes has had minor injuries.
Minor injuries. That's why he hasn't been the same player.
Okay, I understand that. It's a good gamble for $3 million.
It's a good gamble. You think that's a good gamble, but
for $10 million for a number 3 receiver?
Yes, $10 million.
When you have a lot of other needs?
Yeah, a lot of other needs. They're not going to win no championship. They're not ready to win a championship.
I understand that. I'd rather spend $10 million in other areas rather than a number 3 receiver.
But you'd rather give Xavier Rhodes, who's a washed-up corner, for the Indianapolis Colts. When you gave up to me, you gave up a better corner and a more reliable corner. He's a better corner.
He's not a better corner.
He is a more reliable
He's a good corner. He's not a better corner.
He is a more reliable cornerback than Xavier Rhodes.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Stop.
Yes, he is.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous?
And the Jets paid him more. The Colts paid $3 million.
Paid him more? They gave him 1 year.
They gave him $5.5 million.
They gave him 1 year.
$3 million.
They gave him 1 year. Why would they give Xavier Rhodes, who can't stay on the field? That guy at least stays on the field.
He didn't last year either. He had injury issues last year too.
Stop making excuses for the player that you. If you love a player,
I like the move for Desir. I'm not saying I don't.
No,
I love the move for Rhodes.
You know what it is. You know what it is. You laugh at the players that you like, and you don't like the players that I like. So
no,
you know
I'm
what?
looking at value.
Here's the value. Xavier Rhodes will not play the full season. He wasn't worth the $3 million. Go ahead.
What would you pay him?
Go ahead.
What would you pay him?
Nothing. $1 million because the guy can't stay on the field.
That's ridiculous.
The guy can't stay on the field.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
okay.
You're ridiculous.
All right, DeForest Buckner, I like that move for them. They need help up front. Justin Houston's really the only thing they have. They have a lot of young players that haven't worked out so far. I love that move. Buckner's still very young, and they gave him a nice extension. I think $20 million could be a little much, but for somebody that's versatile and has had nice years, that's a good move. And then Phillip Rivers, we'll see. $25 million. It's a nice move, gambling on him for a year. He had a down year last year, but he's been very good longevity-wise beyond that. So I like the gamble for him. And then Costanzo bringing him back, definitely a nice move. In terms of the draft, they don't have a first-round pick now. So, again, second round, they could probably go in a lot.
Big mistake.
You think it was a mistake getting Buckner?
Big mistake. Buckner was not the same pass rusher until Joey Bosa came into the picture. I think it was a big mistake.
He was still pretty good before that.
No, he wasn't.
He was in terms of a run stopper, in terms of the versatility, which the Colts need.
Overrated.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
The Colts, in terms of the draft, they can go in a lot of different directions. You could see a wide receiver there in the spot, or you could see defense. I think that's really the two things they need. Maybe a running back if they like a guy, because Marlon Mack's been good at times, but he's also been inconsistent, and he's also had trouble staying healthy as well. So there's a lot of different directions they can go in. They're a good team with obvious needs in certain areas on defense and offensive skill players for the Colts. The Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the other big offseason losers, selling really low on Calais Campbell, trading for just a 5th-round pick. They got back a decent value for Foles, which was surprising. But then they haven't done much after that. Tyler Eifert, a guy, you want to talk about a guy who can't stay on the field. You give him 2 years, $15.5 million.
They traded Foles away. It made no sense. Why did you bring him to the team to trade him away? You trade him to the Bears, and you really got nothing back for him. So,
I mean,
makes sense.
For what his contract was, they should be happy with a 4th-round pick. I'm surprised it wasn't like a 6th or something like that. Joe Schobert's a nice deal, 5 years, $53 million. But again, you're kind of overloading on linebackers unless you don't think Telvin Smith's going to come back at all. You already have Myles Jack, who's nice. It was a good move for the value, but it just really wasn't a need. In terms of the draft, there's a lot of things they could do. They could trade back from 9 because there's going to be a lot of teams trying to trade up to get in front of the Browns for offensive linemen. I think they could trade back. There's a lot of areas they can go in. Corner, definitely another one to replace Jalen Ramsey. Receiver is always a big need for them. DJ Chark was good for them last year, but that's really it. They have other young receivers, maybe, but I don't know. There's a lot of areas they can go in. And then defense, do they replace that pass rush? Do they replace the corners? There's a lot of areas they can go in. They could trade up. They could trade back. They're going to be an interesting wild card. And then there's the Texans, who did a lot of bad. They did a lot of bad this offseason. Yeah. You got that right. They trade away DeAndre Hopkins for a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick.
Talking about trading Watson away.
Trading Watson? They didn't trade Watson.
No, they're talking about trading Deshaun Watson away.
Well, that's stupid.
If they do that, you haven't heard that?
If they do that,
you haven't heard that? You haven't heard the stories right now? That
I know the Beeve was saying it last week. I don't know how much I believe that.
I believe it. I've heard stories that he wants out.
Maybe that's where Trevor Lawrence is going to go at this rate. Maybe that's what they're doing. But if they do that, that would be ridiculous because Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback in this league. So the Texans, if you do that, you officially have the worst offseason maybe of all time. They bring back some corners. Okay, they have a lot of prove-it deals on that bunch. Beyond that, they really didn't do anything.
They brought A.J. McCarron in. Come on, guys, you should be happy about that.
Oh yeah. is probably more of a value pick than Xavier Rhodes is. Huh?
Snug, I don't care what you think. Speedy is right about Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes has done nothing in 2 years. I could care less what you say.
And you're paying him $3 million.
$3 million.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing for a guy that barely even plays, okay? He barely played last year. I'm not paying him $3 million. He has to prove himself. I give him a contract of $1.5 million. You prove yourself, you get the $3 million. That's what I give him. Okay,
but what he was in terms of what he is, he regressed a little. So
regressed a little, regressed a lot.
Okay, so
regressed a lot.
So he regressed from being a $15 million corner to what? Being I would say average value of a 10. I would say that. He played 15 games, so yeah, he played hurt some of them. Okay, fine. He played 14 games the year before. So it's not, again, it's minor injuries. It's not somebody that you have to worry about like Todd Gurley, who has arthritic knees.
All right, are you done?
Yes, I'm done now because you have to defend Xavier Rhodes on a $3 million contract. If they gave him $15 million, I'd understand your problem. They gave him $3 million.
It was a bad move.
It's a prove it deal.
Yeah, a prove it deal.
Well, and if you love the move they made for George Font, who's essentially a prove it deal too. They can let him go if he struggles.
George Font had a better season last year than he ever did. Xavier Rhodes.
George Font wishes he could have the seasons Rhodes had.
That's fine. Xavier Rhodes plays a different position. You can't even compare the positions, you idiot.
Was George Font ever a top 5 tackle?
No.
Was he ever a top 10 tackle?
No.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that mean? You have a washed-up player to a guy that could play well with the New York Jets, and why
he could play well with Minnesota.
He's not going to play well.
Or he could play or Indianapolis.
He's not going to play well with Indianapolis, and I'm going to stick it in your face when he doesn't.
And he's a $3 million deal. I'm going to
stick it in your face just like you thought Washington's defense was going to be good this year. I was stuck it in your face, and I'm going to stick this in your face when Xavier Rhodes is a washed-up player.
Okay, for $3 million a year, you could just get rid of him.
He's a washed-up player.
Then we'll know for sure.
He is a washed-up player. Go ahead, bring it up for me. Bring it up. Get me to the top. Get me to the top team. Tennessee. Let's go over from Tennessee, because my computer is frozen. Where are we going? Oh, we're going Tennessee first? Tennessee is going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. I don't like Ryan Tannehill. I was very surprised to give him a 4-year, $118 million contract. Derrick Henry, they franchised him. They'll probably franchise him again next year before they extend him or they let him go. I don't like any of their moves. Vic Beasley, who's a washed-up edge rusher, another guy who got a 1 year and $9.5 million. To me, that's fully guaranteed. To give an edge rusher that has not had a good season in almost 3 years, that kind of money was a bad move by Tennessee. But it might help them. They might actually move their they play the 4-3 defense.
They play hybrid, but they're mostly, I think they were mostly 3-4 last year.
Okay, but they could probably be more of a 4-3 defense with Beasley on the edge. So
maybe not losing Jarrell Casey though. I don't know.
We'll see. But what do they need to do in this year's draft? Well, their offensive line's good. Their defensive line needs a little bit of help. I think they can add some secondary help. I can see them doing that. I do believe that they need some wide receivers. The wide receivers that they drafted the last couple of years, they really haven't produced nothing. Johnson, who everybody thought was going to be a star, is not. There is nobody on that team that's a number one guy. They have all really good number 2 guys. So I think a wide receiver position, especially how much depth is in this drafted wide receiver, I could see them going after a wide receiver. Absolutely. Who do we have right here? Are we going to Indianapolis?
Yep.
Indianapolis. I love the Phillip Rivers move. I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a good season. I think being on that offensive line, one of the best offensive lines of football, which he hasn't had in a long, long time. And you bring it back Anthony Costanzo, who I think is one of the most underrated offensive linemen. For $33 million was a steal. 2-year, $33 million. I look at Xavier Rhodes. I think that was a bust move. I didn't like it. And as far as Buckner is concerned, I don't know what Buckner is going to be on Indianapolis, but he came when Joey Bosa wasn't there. He was a good defensive lineman. He wasn't he wasn't excellent. They gave up a lot of stock of draft picks for DeForest Buckner. I don't like DeForest Buckner because I don't know if he could play without Joey Bosa.
Now I have a question because you're saying it's bad trading him away for the first round pick. Do you think there's any better defensive lineman outside of Chase Young? You're not going to get a 13 anyway. Better defensive lineman that they could get at that spot though?
I don't know. It depends on who falls, and I think there'll be players that are going to fall. There's not a lot of good pass rushers in this year's draft.
Right.
There really isn't. This is more of an offensive line, corner, wide receiver, running back draft. Right. That's what it is. Not a lot of safeties in this year's draft. There's good safeties. It's not like guys like Jamal Adams.
Right, mid first, late first round
safeties. They're not great safeties in this year's draft. So this is going to be built around really the big part positions. I mean, and there's not a lot of good quarterbacks in this year's draft either. There's 3, 4.
Right, it's top heavy, and then
there's really not good quarterbacks in this year's draft too. So, where do I see Indianapolis going in this year's draft? I think they're going to add a corner in this year's draft because I don't know if they trust Xavier Rhodes, and I wouldn't trust Xavier Rhodes. I do believe they're going to go after some defensive line help. Even though they added Buckner, I think they're going to add another pass rusher or a linebacker in their core. They have, to me, one of the most underrated linebackers in football in Leonard. I think they have a good base. I still think they need pieces. So, and I think they need safety help too, Indianapolis. So
yeah, Malik Hooker's had trouble staying healthy too.
Yeah, so that's my spiel with Indianapolis. Jacksonville, I don't know what Jacksonville is doing right now. Losing Campbell to the Ravens made the Ravens that much better. Gives them a pass rusher that they lacked in certain aspects, especially in the playoffs last year, that hurt them against Tennessee. Tyler Eifert was a pickup, 15.5. He hasn't really done anything the last couple of years. I worry about him, but it's 2 years, but it's really a 1 year guaranteed money. I don't know if that's a big deal. I think the best acquisition they've made this year was really nobody. I don't see anybody. Joe
Schobert was a decent value, but they don't really need a linebacker.
5 years, $53 million.
They don't really need a linebacker, though.
$22 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money for a linebacker that's not a top 5, top 7 linebacker in the league. The Jets gave C.J. Mosley top linebacker money because he's one of the top 3 linebackers in football. You're giving this guy $50-something million. He better be one of the top 10, top 15 linebackers in the league. He's not.
He's an improving linebacker, but you're right. He's probably not there yet.
Jacksonville, they need a lot. They need a lot. They need a quarterback. I could see them looking for a quarterback in this year's draft if somebody doesn't fall to them or they don't move up for one. That's going to be a question that only they can answer. They need wide receivers. They really do. I don't think they have any weapons on the outside. This has been the problem for years. They had Hearns there for over the years. They gave away Robinson. I don't understand that. They had weapons and they gave them away.
They gambled on the fact that Robinson was hurt and Blake Bortles played better without him for whatever reason.
I think they need wide receivers. Fournette is not the same player. I don't know what's going on with Fournette.
He's on a contract here, too.
Yeah, so
he might be out of there, too.
I don't know what's going on with Fournette or what they're going to do. I think they can go after another running back to help him out on the outside because he's a power back. He's not an outside guy. So I think those are the pieces. I do believe they need corner help. Losing the corners that they did in this offseason, especially trading away another one in this offseason. They had arguably the best corners in football, the best duo in football, and now they don't have them on the team at all. So I think they need to add some corner help and some safety help as well. And
the Texans.
Well, number one thing they need is a GM. That's the number one thing they do. Okay, so because having a coach run this team is showing just incompetence of what this team is. They traded away Hopkins, made no sense. They brought in David Johnson, who hasn't been the same running back for really the last 2.5, 3 years. I don't understand that, but who knows? Maybe they hit lightning in a bottle. I don't know. Randall Cobb, I think 3 years, 27. Randall Cobb is robbing everybody. He robbed the Cowboys, and now he's robbing them. I mean, Randall Cobb is not the same player he once was with the Green Bay Packers.
Maybe he'll quit play quarterback if they trade Watson.
Look at the money this guy's getting. This guy can't stay on the field, and he's getting all this money. 3 years, $27 million? Are you nuts?
He hasn't been good since 2016 either.
Re-signing Darren Fells, big whoop. I mean, nothing here. Vernon Hargreaves, who was supposed to be one of the best corners coming out of the draft a couple of years ago, has been a giant bust. He came from Florida, right?
Yep.
He was a giant bust. I mean, I don't know what the hell. I don't think, what's his name again? O'Brien's going to figure out how to fix him up. If Todd Bowles couldn't fix him, I don't think he could. So, good luck on that. So, as far as I'm concerned, what the Houston Texans need, they need everything. They need everything.
And they have, 1 second-round pick, I think 2 fourth-round picks to deal with it. They don't even have a third because they traded that to Miami. So,
good luck.
Yeah. They're going to have to hit on a lot of gems, which they normally don't do.
Besides
Arian Foster, I don't think there's any real gem that you could say, all right, the Texans you could trust to hit on in their franchise history.
So that's our NFC and AFC Souths. We went through the Norths, the Souths, and the Easts. Tomorrow, what are we getting into, Speedy?
The Wild, Wild West.
The Wild, Wild West, and I think, to me, probably the best divisions in football. That's where I think.
You think the AFC West is that good? NFC West, yeah. AFC West, I don't know if they're the best. The Chiefs are good, but again, they have cap issues.
They won the Super Bowl.
Okay. The Chargers, we'll see with them. The Broncos and Raiders,
I like the
kind of
Raiders.
rebuilding. I like what the Broncos did this offseason, though. So
I like the Raiders. So
maybe
I like the Raiders this year. I think John Gruden has them on the right track, and I think John Gruden's bringing Jake Gruden in to the team.
No, I think Jay Gruden went to the Jags already.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought Jake Gruden was going. I was hearing stories that he was going to Oakland.
Those were the rumors. I thought he was signed with Jacksonville, though. Yeah.
He went to the Jaguars. When did he go? 4 days ago.
Yep.
Because I was reading that Jake Gruden he was heading to Oakland. I was very surprised.
Jaguars, Jay Gruden to bring in Andy Dalton.
Well, good luck on that.
All right, let's go trade for another overpaid
Matty
quarterback.
Cap's favorite guy.
Let's go trade for another overpaid quarterback.
Matty
He's probably
Cap.
the same level as Nick Foles at this point.
Matty Cap's favorite guy. There you go. Unbelievable. Anyways, we're not going to a break because we have very little bit of time left. We have 15 minutes. So, Speedy, what other subjects we need to get into here?
I know you want to get into the fight thing, or you want to do that tomorrow?
No, we can get into the fighting thing.
All right, we can do that thing because we can get into the baseball thing tomorrow because that's a longer segment with the pitchers.
Okay, so there was a story coming out that we talked about it. Me and Anthony talked about it on our show, Caged in MMA, the other day, about Khabib going out to Russia and telling Ferguson that he'll fight him in August, which practically backed out of his fight. Now, the story came out today that Gunther is going to step in for Khabib and fight Ferguson at UFC 249, which has not been canceled, which I'm very surprised. And I don't know what Dana White is doing. And I have taken my shots at Dana White or what I thought about Dana White throughout Caged in MMA. And everybody knows my lack of thought to who he is as a president and as, I guess, the commissioner of MMA. The problem is right now, I don't think Gunther has a chance, had a chance against Conor. I definitely don't think he has a chance against Ferguson. I wouldn't be so surprised if Ferguson knocks him out in the second round. Now, Ferguson did not train for Gunther, so Gunther is going into this fight on a whim as well. So there is no advantage to a fight. And anybody that knows anything about fighting knows that it's all, to me, it's all matchups. Fighting is just like basketball is, just like baseball is, just like hockey is. It's all about matchups. We're going to put Anthony on. Let's put Anthony on because Anthony's on the phone right now. What's up, Ant?
What's going on, buddy? No, I was waiting all day for this one because I knew you were going to bring this up. And you want to know something? I'll tell you this right now. For probably one of the first times I'll agree with something that you said yesterday, Dana White is the biggest moron I've ever seen in my entire life for making this fight continue. He could have saved a lot of face by letting this whole thing just cancel out, push it, reschedule it. By putting Gaethje in there with Ferguson, first off, this is going to be you're going to have better numbers with that free fight that they did in Brazil with nobody being there. I'm so pissed off at this. I don't even want to watch it.
And let's say
the whole fight card is disgusting.
If Ferguson fights, Ferguson fights Gunther, which it seems like he is, Gunther was supposed to fight at UFC 252 against Conor McGregor. If he loses, does he fight Conor McGregor? I would say no. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So who fights Conor McGregor next? That's the question.
This was the master plan.
Yep. You know what? Masvidal. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Khabib and McGregor too.
You think so? I think it's Masvidal.
Yes.
I think what they're setting up right now is Khabib, Ferguson in August, and UFC 252 Masvidal. That's what I think they're going to.
Right now, Dana White is going to make him dance for that fight in August for a title shot. Let me explain why. In the prelims, do you know who's fighting in the prelims on this fight card, and he has not canceled his bout yet?
Who?
Khabib's little brother.
It's just I don't.
Why is somebody one place and the other one's not?
That's what I'm saying. And I've said this over and over again, and I'll tell you this right now. Dana White is not only the biggest idiot in professional sports. I think Dana White thinks that he's bigger than everybody else, and that's the problem.
There's no need to hold on to this fight card. There's no need to. It's I don't know why. There's no desperation here in doing this fight. When if you just push it back, just like all the other sports, you're not losing money to something else. What the hell are you losing money to? WrestleMania? What are you losing money to?
Which is on tonight as well. I mean, actually, it was on last night, right?
Yeah,
it was on last night.
Gronk won for whatever reason.
What happened?
They made Gronk win, which you can tell how scripted that is.
What happened? I didn't hear you.
Gronk was at WrestleMania.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I don't.
And I didn't watch it either, but I heard about it. I'm like, if that's not as scripted as you get.
The main thing is there's no desperation here to put this fight on. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm speechless over here. The co-main event is Rose versus Jessica Andrade.
Mhm.
We've seen that one before.
Right. Yep.
And what happened? It didn't make it out of the first goddamn round. Why are we doing it again? You have Uriah Hall going against, and we're bringing up the old guys now. We're bringing the old guys back.
Mhm.
You have the freaking alligator for crying out. You have Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ronaldo Souza going against Uriah Hall as the main event in the prelims on ESPN.
Right.
Okay. No, it's not even on the main card. You have the kid Qatar fighting.
And they
only
think.
have 4 fights
Let me
on
ask
the
you
main
this question, Anthony. The UFC thinks that people are going to buy this UFC 249. Nobody's going to buy this.
Everybody's right now is saying, "Thank God I got a fire stick." You realize that, right?
Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to buy this. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not wasting my time in buying that. I'm not going to waste my time and buy it. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
This right here. There's no desperate, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over and again. Okay, if you're trying to prove something by having this fight card on, you're not proving anything.
Well, I'm telling you, Anthony. I told you.
It's terrible. This is a terrible fight card.
I told you when we talked about this on Friday. And I'll tell you,
Terrible.
boxing is moving forward, and UFC and MMA so far, what we've seen so far this year as moving backwards. That's what it is. It's moving back. Boxing's being smart. They're canceling their fights. They're moving their fights to other dates, moving it forward to other dates, and they're planning it the right way. The UFC is not planning this the right way. Dana White's all about the money. He's trying to put the fannies in the seats, or have people buying the pay-per-view, and this is a pay-per-view that nobody's going to waste their money in buying.
If you wanted to salvage any fans that you have during this, crazy time with the sickness and all that stuff that's been going on with the rescheduling of things, if you are going to go forward and have this being done, the only way that you would probably salvage this to try to get back to something, make it free. Make it free. Don't insult people's intelligence by actually trying to polish a turd and call it a diamond, because that's what this is.
That's a good line.
That's exactly what this
Speedy,
is.
do you want to polish a turd? Ew. That would be a no, Anthony.
Well, I'm just simply saying.
No, I agree with you, but Speedy doesn't want to polish a turd.
Listen, Errol, I'm pretty annoyed by this.
I know. That's why I'm trying to make you laugh.
You know me. I'm always usually trying to the half glass full guy when it comes to a lot of this stuff with promoters and stuff like that.
You better drink that glass and fill it up to the top, my friend.
This is like you didn't even try. This is like you didn't even try.
Well, I feel bad.
You didn't even try. You threw this in front of Gaethje.
But here's the thing.
Gaethje's going to say no to this? What the hell does Gaethje care?
Yeah, here's the problem. I call him Gunthrow, but Gaethje, whatever his name is. But I will tell you this. This doesn't bode well for Ferguson, because if Ferguson somehow walks into a punch and gets knocked out, how does this benefit Ferguson in the future? It doesn't. This helps Gaethje.
Gaethje lost money with this fight. You know that, right?
Yeah, but it still helps Gaethje, because if Gaethje beat Ferguson, he has the chance to win, for the title fight against Khabib.
I'm shocked, but he's not fighting. He's not beating Ferguson.
I know he's not beating Ferguson. I don't think Conor could beat Ferguson. I don't think Khabib could beat Ferguson. I think Ferguson's the best fighter in that division, and I think he's going to prove it.
Keeping Gaethje and McGregor was a decent. Keeping Gaethje and McGregor as a main event 5-round title fight was a nice competitive fight for fans. You know what I mean? In regards to keeping it, just bringing back some of that talent, like what we were talking about, evening out the fight cards, keeping that balance going of nice, consistent fights and everything. You didn't do that with this.
Right.
You didn't. Because if you look at it online, after the Thug Rose and Jessica fight, which we know what happened, somebody doesn't get knocked out that decisively to the point where your head's down and you're unconscious, and then get a rematch.
Right.
You basically went out, just like a lot of these amateur fights do, and say, who else got their medicals, who's healthy, who's willing to fight. That's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you put together. You put together this piece of crap.
And that's what it is.
Pay-per-view.
And that's what it is. And listen, they could sell whatever they want. Nobody, like you said, if you have a Fire Stick, go out and buy a Fire Stick. I'll what do they call it? Crash it, unlock it. I could do it. I did it for all mine.
It's called fixing it.
Well, I could do it. I could do it. So if anybody wants their Fire Stick locked unlocked,
fixed.
Yeah, fixed.
Errol,
I'm sorry, fixed. I can help you because to me,
so if you can't get what you want to see, it's broken. So you're getting it fixed.
Okay, fix your Fire Stick. I can do that. So, anyways, Anthony, if you guys don't know who Anthony Anderosi is, my partner in Caged in MMA. He called up because I brought up the UFC, and Speedy wanted to get into this story because it is a crazy story. I give Gaethje a lot of credit for jumping into this fight. It doesn't benefit Ferguson. It does benefit Gaethje. If Gaethje somehow wins this fight, which he
has
won't,
nothing to lose.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose. Yeah, exactly.
Even let's say this fight, even if he loses this fight in the first round or something, and he gets his 60-day suspension or what, he still can go and make that Conor McGregor money.
Mm-hmm.
The only person that has something to lose other than the UFC and the UFC fans on this is Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Ferguson, I would hold everybody's feet to the fire and say, no. Khabib's not going to have the control in this, and nobody else is going to have the control in this. Now I'm going to take control of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I think Ferguson believes in his talent. I think Ferguson has a lot to prove. Ferguson will beat Gaethje, and he'll beat Khabib in August and shut Khabib up. And I think that's what's going to happen. Khabib made a big mistake. He made a big mistake.
Turn around and say, I don't want to fight because I don't want any asterisks next to my damn belt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it. Mm-hmm. This is not an interim thing for me. It waters it down.
Mm-hmm.
How many? We've had more interim fights than you've had legitimate unification bouts.
Right.
It's pathetic.
Mm-hmm. Anthony
It almost
Anderosi.
means like the title don't mean crap. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go.
Thank you, Anthony. You're the man. Thank you for calling the show, my friend.
Talk to you later. Bye.
There you go. Anthony Anderosi joining us, my partner from Caged in MMA. As soon as he heard MMA, he got involved with it. So there you go.
He said he was waiting.
It's going to be very, very interesting as we move forward in the UFC and what the UFC is going to do. Masvidal is a guy that I think would be a great matchup for Conor. I don't know if Conor wants to fight Masvidal because I think they're both kind of the same fighter. And Masvidal has that deadly right and Conor has that deadly left. So I'd be very interested to see that fight and Khabib versus Ferguson, and whoever wins both those fights fight each other. So, but this Gaethje fight, I think it bodes well for Ferguson if he wins because he'll shut everybody up. It doesn't bode well because he's the only one putting his face on the line for this fight. Nobody else is. So I think Anthony is absolutely right. That's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back tomorrow. As you guys know, you can call us at 631-965-4990. And remember, you can follow us by going to our website at www.sportsonthego1.com and also www.worldwidesportsradio.com as well. Both, they're both entwined to each other. Our app will be out soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm very excited about it. I showed you, Speedy, some of the pictures of what it's going to look like. I think a lot of fans are going to love it. Again, we've been working really, really hard to get this thing out on the Android and iOS. So once it's out, I'll let everybody know so you can download it. It'll be the easiest way to get in touch with us. You can go through our social medias. It's right on your phone. It's right on your iPad. All you got to do is open up the app, and it's great. So you don't have to go to a website anymore. So it's really, really great. I'm very excited about it. So that's it, man. Tomorrow we have a lot. Believe it or not, we have a lot of sports to talk about tomorrow. We didn't really get into today. We got into the Houston Astros situation. We got into our South, AFC and NFC South, and we talked about the MMA fight coming up, the pay-per-view coming up this weekend on Saturday. So do not buy it, ladies and gentlemen. Do not waste your money and buy that main event. Get a Fire Stick and break it. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's not worth a dime to watch. I mean, the fact that you get to watch Ferguson, that's great. Gaethje versus Ferguson is not a fight that you're going to just like, wow, I want to go watch that fight. So don't waste your money. Don't give Dana White any reason that he's going to make money on it. So
now, I wanted to ask you this. Is Dana White worse than Roger Goodell to you? I'm just curious.
Just as bad.
Just as bad?
He thinks he runs mixed martial arts when he doesn't.
Okay.
He runs the UFC right now, and he's ruining what the UFC has to offer, what he built. He built it years and years ago, and like Anthony said, he gave up on it after he made his millions off of it. So, almost his billions. So, he's just to me, he was a good businessman. Now he's one of the worst, in my eyes.
All right. Just curious, because we always say Roger Goodell's the worst commissioner in all of sports, so I didn't know if Dana White was close to that.
He's right there.
All right.
He's just as bad. Then Gary Bettman. Actually, Rob Manfred and Gary Bettman. I think Rob Manfred's...
So it's like 2A, 2B,
yes,
and
I think
Goodell and White are 1A, 1B.
Yes, and I think Gary Bettman is better as a commissioner now than Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred really screwed up, and Rob Manfred's almost up at that 1B. So he's right there. He's getting there. Just as bad.
I guess it depends on what happens with this Red Sox thing. We'll see.
Absolutely. That's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. here on the Worldwide Sports Radio and RTF Sports Network as well. Until then, this is Errol Marks and Speedy Petey saying good night, and we'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock-sponsored mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.